Hello, hello, and welcome to the Potential Apes podcast. You know us for games and pirate radio pioneering, but today we cover everything else. From America to piracy, it's a pod about life. Today I will be your host. It's the host of the podcast, Nick Ditto. Wink. To my right, he's quick with a blaster, it's Mike.
Hello, hello. Good to see you again.
And of course to my left, my body double, it's Chuck of the Gaming Twins.
Why, hello there. It's been too long, my good sir.
Guys, today we are making a podcast, and we've got a show for you today. But first, a word from our sponsors. This one is from Azran, Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, childhood ski games covers from Super Princess Peach and Psychonauts 2, tips for creating original music. All this and more could be yours by heading over to Azran127 on YouTube and Twitch. And that was just for the last month. There's always more to come. P.S. PAX East, do yourself a favor and accept my application to be a panelist, or else Nick and Legend, who are always liking my tweets, will be immensely disappointed. Don't let us down, PAX East. Accept it, or bust.
Yo, I don't know where PAX East is, but I want to go. If
Really,
he's
that
a
would be
panelist.
amazing.
That would be
wouldn't
so cool.
That would be so cool.
I don't know if it's East in America.
That's straight up East Coast. That's like
New York,
Jersey
then.
range.
Yeah.
Or something around there. So
That's not happening.
yeah, it's not happening at all. This one is from Jesse Evil. First month of 2022 is down to all those that had stress or struggles this month. Great job on getting through the month. Be proud of yourself. Wishing all a great February. Take care, everyone.
So we're really late on this.
I was gonna say
a lot of
this
this
month
stuff
is
is
still-
from January.
Yeah, I was say this
It
month
sure
is still
is,
going.
but it still applies.
Yeah,
Still
but yeah,
applies.
congratulations getting through January, and at this point, mostly through
Almost.
February,
February ends in like a week.
because this is the fuggliest time of the year, in my opinion. This is the worst time of the year.
Absolutely. By the way, guys, how this podcast works, we bring you two topics. And then the third one is nominated by, could have been you, nominated by the community.
Yeah.
By, of course, participating in the forum for the show. But today, we're doing something different. We will have two community-elected topics this time around. So for those who got in, you're welcome.
Yeah, we did. We get two community topics this time.
I'm kidding. Thank you for your participation. We really
I was
do
really
appreciate
confused with the "you're welcome." I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
I shouldn't. What?
it. No, man, we're doing him a favor. Don't you understand? And I'm kidding. No, you guys are helping us. And of course, this time around, we're going to have one of our own elected topics. We had two, but oh boy, the little C got in the way and moved one of those right on off the podcast. So,
We already did that, guys. So
we shall begin. Where would we like to start? Would you like to start?
I don't know.
the
I can
topics.
start with mine. We
There's
did
that-
just kind of talk about this a little bit in the pre-show, so I think we're
I
nice
think
and
it's
warmed up for
I
it.
think it's a great one to roll into.
All right, so
Rolling
my
in.
topic today,
I like rolling.
okay, and I'm really excited about this one because this is an important.
where's the topic so I can at least.
This is one of the most important things that I think you can do for your own relationship. Okay, like this is seriously, you guys are getting special advice from Chuck Ditto.
For a second.
What did I? How did I say that?
What
I
is
had-
your love language? And
He just spit it
I
right
was
out.
so
That's the
mad
topic.
because I was like, "Are we talking about English, Spanish,
This is
German?"
beautiful.
It's the stupidest sentence you could have put in.
I
there.
But
love
you know
this.
what?
It was
That is
stupid.
a
But
real
you know what?
No, it's not.
You,
It's a
just
real
like
sentence.
anybody who's might be listening, okay, can learn. And I'm here to teach
Yes.
you, okay?
The love language is not a thing.
No. I'm about to
Oh.
guide
The
you
language-
into
you said the
it.
language of love.
You're coming
You're
in.
making it sound like there's.
No,
Let's go on, join-
Here
join
comes.
the
All right.
train.
This isn't the 70s. Calm down.
All right, guys. Here's
Thankfully.
how this works, okay?
I actually
This
feel
is
like sometimes.
now. Okay, look. I'm seeing some group distress surrounding this
seeing
topic.
that
I
group
feel
of
like
Let's go
he's-
ahead and get
I
into it.
feel
okay?
like you're bragging that you're married and no one else is besides.
But
Nick.
you know what? This can help you even if you're not.
Here,
okay?
let me throw something out there, okay, guys.
ahead.
This is actually really valuable because this is what can help you better one, understand
We
yourself,
think.
and
We
two,
think.
understand your potential match.
That's right. Now, this is incredibly important because it's not even, I've talked about this myself because when I learned about love languages and that kind of thing, okay, I was shocked because I'm the kind of person where my brain, it's like everything is logical, okay? And everything has a reason and a reaction, okay? So, like, no matter what happens, there's a way to
Also,
logic
guys,
it.
something
okay?
you might be missing here. Love language, is this exclusive to, like...
Can we just call it
isn't
relationship advice?
This applies to like
It is.
family dynamics and everything.
That's
Not love
exactly what I
language.
want to get into because this isn't exclusive
this
to your
isn't- this
romantic
isn't like-
partner.
yeah,
Okay, guys,
The St.
you ready
Louis
for
Club
this?
isn't excluded here. This is an actual thing.
For the
All right.
record, I did say this was a stupid topic. I will still participate, but I
You
just
wait
want my
until you hear the
I
end.
want the
relax,
other
and
people out there
learn.
to know that I am on their side. Chuck's writing something angrily down on a piece
No,
of
no,
paper.
no, no, no. I'm going to ask you at the end of this, okay?
Okay.
If you think it was a
Yes.
stupid topic, all right?
Yes.
All right? And I want you to keep that in the back of your head.
I
Don't
love
tell me until
I
we're
have
at the end. okay?
someone
I'll
like
ask you.
Chuck trying to give me relationship advice.
All right. All right, guys, here's how this is, okay? There are 5 love languages, okay? Now,
No, there's
love
not. There's
languages
3.
are one of the greatest and easiest ways, okay, to help you understand any relationship you have, okay? Love languages are essentially the way that you give and receive love, okay? So, there are 5.
I want to point something out.
Did you
here.
read a
Love
book for this?
No.
No. you
I
don't need
learned
books for this.
all
Did
this
you
stuff.
Wikipedia this?
I did research on this years ago.
You got like what are they called? Sources?
I like psychology. I have a link. You guys are going to be able to click the link to take the test yourself and find out what your love
Ooh, I
language
like
is.
this. By the way, guys, I have a minor in psych.
Yes, I really
Yeah,
like
he's
psychology.
doing it on us illegally.
This is where I learned.
But continue.
Okay, you guys ready for
You
this?
have a minor in psych.
I do.
No, you
All right,
don't.
here are
Proof.
the 5 love languages. Okay, number 1,
Spanish.
physical touch. Okay, this can include anything from a hug. This can include kisses. Romantic touching. that kind of thing. But
Whoa.
it's not exclusive to that. But
Hand-holding,
essentially,
the really more
hand-holding.
innocent version of that.
Hand-holding is a great example of someone who has a love language of physical touch. Okay. The next one. Okay.
French.
Words of affirmation. That's a fancy way of basically saying, nice things or complimenting the person, or saying "I love you" is one of the most massive things you can do if that's your love language. It's like if that's your love language, that's important to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like affirming your love.
Yeah, it's letting them know. So it could be like, hey, you look really great today. Or it could just be like,
breathing
hey,
it out into
thank
the
you so
universe.
much. You're always helping me out. Just acknowledging with words,
Acknowledging,
giving
there we
praise
go. Yeah.
is a great way. If your love language is words of
You do that with
affirmation.
family.
Huh?
This can go with
Family.
Yeah.
family dynamics.
And that's
Think
what
of
I'm gonna get
parents to
into.
kids.
This goes into any relationship. It can go into your friendships. So, number 3,
Italian.
quality time. Okay, quality time. Now, just before the show, we were kind of going over some of our Valentine's Day topics. That was the topic that was cut. Okay, and I actually wrote my notes here. This is funny. Jessie Evil, you guys have heard her name multiple times on the podcast. She talked constantly. She said,
Yes.
"I don't care what we're doing. I just want to do it together."
Yes.
Her love language is quality time.
Yes,
That's
yes,
it.
yes.
You
I
know,
do
it
with my-
doesn't have to be a
my
gift. It doesn't have to
friends.
be anything. So that's important to her. That is her love language. Okay. Number 4, acts of service. This is my wife's love language. Okay.
Acts of service. You need to
Yes.
reword that one.
No, that's actually it.
You
No,
can
acts of service.
elaborate
Listen,
then.
listen.
So here's what
We'll
it is. Okay.
elaborate.
It can be doing the dishes.
Oh,
It
okay.
can be, it's like, hey, I'm having a really hard day. Usually this kind of person,
Could you
they
handle
have a
the
long list of
groceries
chores.
today?
So are you saying this is
have
her
way too much.
favorite to show you, or her
This
favorite that
is
she prefers
her
from you?
love language. This is how she receives love.
By you doing it or her doing it?
Me doing it.
Okay.
Okay. So if your
Love
love
language
language
is how you
Receive love.
how you best receive love.
So-
there are some things that you might not actually connect with, which maybe
And
the
I'm
last
gonna
one on the list.
and the last one on the list is one that is not my love language in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so don't bother.
Dun, dun,
Thank you, anybody, but don't bother. The last one is receiving gifts. Okay,
Gift giving, yeah.
this is also my wife's. So a lot of people, okay, their love language is receiving gifts. It can be anything. You can get them a pencil, and the fact that you thought about them and
whoa.
you got that for
Yeah.
them, that makes them happy. Sometimes it doesn't matter. And this is also funny because just before the show, we were also talking to one of our good friends, AG, okay?
Yes.
And he said specifically, he said one of the things he loves about Valentine's Day is getting his family these little gifts. They're not even that big. It's just a little thing, okay? Mm-hmm. But my guess, I don't know, but I'm guessing one of AG's love languages is receiving gifts. Now, here's one of the biggest things, okay? This is one of the biggest pitfalls anybody can do.
Let's hear it.
Well, for starters, not pay attention to your partner's love language, okay? Because one of the first things you are going to do is whatever your love language is, you're going to put that out to other people because you're going to say, I love that. So you do that to them.
That's what you do. So that's the thing. And someone answered this question here. I don't remember where it was, but they answered it like specifically. Maybe it was AG. Whatever you say is the best way you receive love is probably how you often attempt to give it. Okay? Because I mean, yeah, if
I just read something interesting.
Are you saying there's one over the other? Go ahead, and then you can.
I just read something interesting in the chat here. So somebody said that it was Monty. He said, I don't really care for gifts, and I'm a terrible gift giver. And this is one of the things. If it's not your love language, you're usually terrible at it.
Yes.
So it is not my love language, but it's my wife's.
Yes.
So I'm terrible at gift giving, and I never remember to do it. In fact, I never buy cards.
I'm so glad you're saying this because this is so me.
I don't buy birthday cards. I don't buy like Christmas cards or anything like that.
We've already learned that's because he's against Hallmark.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
I make my own cards. I hand make every one of them.
See, I don't care about gifts, so I'm not very good at giving them, and I don't even bother with cards. I say I don't care about cards.
In all honesty,
sure, which is why we probably didn't mind either.
Yeah.
So important is to find out what your love language is. Okay, so I went ahead and I took the test.
There's only one?
No,
not at all.
And actually, I'm about to show you my results.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So I went ahead and I sat down and I took.
How long is this quiz?
To be honest, I'll have a link. I'll get the link for you guys so that it'll be in the description for the podcast, or
I'll post it in the Discord.
No, I was going to say if it's like 2 minutes, do it right now.
Not that long.
Okay.
It's not that long. It's seriously like 20 something questions.
Oh, okay.
It's not particularly. It's not even hard.
I'll do
it's
it right now while you're talking.
This or that. This or that. This or that. Very easy. Super fast. Okay. So here are my results. These are my love languages. Yes. Okay, and it's based on percentage because everybody's a little bit of whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But you kind of see some things.
Categories.
So I have physical touch is my number one. Okay?
I thought so.
And I love hugs. Okay. Mm-hmm. I want kisses. I want the hugs. I want to hold the hands. If I see my wife, I'll go up and I'll give her a hug. I'll just give her a quick kiss or whatever. We're walking through the store, holding the hand. Yes.
And for the record, it's also I've watched him do it with his kids too. It's all the time.
That's true.
Just throwing that out there is for people,
Yes, and you'll
it's
reflect
not
that onto
exclusive to romantic partners.
Yeah,
this is how
let's
you show
reiterate
love.
that. You are Italian though, so that doesn't surprise me.
This works.
I'm just saying.
This works with everything. This works with friendships, acquaintances, direct family, your romantic partner.
We do have a handshake,
kids,
so.
Because remember, this isn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't exclusively romantic love. Yes. Not at all. It's how you receive and give
romantic love is the quiz for next time.
Yes. So, it's one of the smartest things you can learn for yourself, okay, for your partner, because it's easily one of the things that I've neglected with my wife. My wife's love languages, okay, are acts of service and gifts. Guess what? I'm a lazy mother lover, so I don't do the acts of service, and I don't even like gifts, so I forget to do them. I am the worst when it comes to this, okay? But me understanding that's what my wife's language is, I'm more aware, and I remember to do those things.
Send a link, Chuck, right now.
I'll see if I can find it.
Even Chad is asking for the link.
I know we're doing a podcast here, but we've got I want to do it. There's three people.
Okay. All right. Let me get the link.
It's like a personality test. You can't be like, I got a test for you to try for Mike. Mike's all about the test.
This was really fun, and it was really exciting. It's like, can I do it? It's like, I forgot the link. It's like, well, that's just great.
You nub.
All right. It's seriously easy. This is great stuff. Nick, I'll put it in the Discord for you guys.
Please do.
I'm gonna put it in.
Link it in chat.
I can't pull up the Discord on this. Chuck will have to link it in chat. He can do it.
I'm just gonna put it in cool stuff. Okay, guys, you guys can check that out. I'm gonna put the Potential Apes logo right here, and
nice. I like
bam.
that.
Okay, guys, that will take you to the website where you could take this test. You can take it right now, okay? Now,
I'm trying to pull it up, guys.
I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead.
Where did you put it?
I put it in the cool stuff, okay? So, okay, I'm going to tell you guys, it's so incredibly important, okay? My children, as I've talked about, okay, on the show, okay, are adopted, okay? So one of the things I did with my younger kids were a little bit too young to kind of do it or understand the questions, so I wasn't able to do it with them. But when my daughter got here, she was 10 years old, okay? And I said, this is incredibly important because, number one, she's in a new place, okay? She's just been adopted and that kind of thing. She's in a new place. I need to make sure she feels welcomed and loved by a new family, okay? Oh, what's going on over there?
Sorry, it's the ad for our Twitch channel.
I love it.
There you go, guys.
Thank you. So, he didn't have permission.
Curses!
Let me see.
It looks like spam. This is great. Oh my god, get ready to post.
All right, there you go. You can post it now.
I got purged.
He did get purged.
I have to wait 30 seconds.
So, okay, so
Wait 30 seconds.
my two younger boys were too young to really take the test to really understand it and all that. But I had my 10-year-old daughter take it, okay? And I learned what her love language was, which helped me help her feel loved and welcomed in our home the right way. Not just doing what mine is, because like I said, if mine is not gifts don't do much for me. Please don't buy me anything, because to be honest, they just don't. It doesn't do much for me.
The feeling of us receiving gifts is
Did
like,
that
oh
work?
no, I gotta get them a gift now.
I think that worked.
That worked.
It told me I had 62 seconds, but I was also had to wait 30 seconds, so I was...
Oh yeah,
I was in the
hilarious.
middle. I was
Limbo
like,
right
uh-oh.
there.
This is
So-
not good.
Okay, so even with my adopted children, that was something I was thinking about. Okay, to try and make sure I was doing these things right, because you can do this with anybody. Okay,
Yeah.
now I could try and figure out, my friend across the desk here. Okay, I know Nick.
That's cool.
There's
There's different like workplace, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Continue.
Like
I'm sorry. I got.
it's a very cool.
I'm doing
thing.
it as we are doing this.
Anyway.
Continue, Chuck.
I think what's important with this thing is that when getting into a relationship, okay, if you guys are single, okay, getting into a relationship and knowing what really helps you, can be really valuable. And of course, then being able to let that partner know, it's like, oh, I don't know, if, let's say gift giving is your favorite thing in the world or whatever, but all they want to do is hold your hand. You're like, stop, let go, stop. And then they feel like totally unloved because their love language, if they're doing it, is probably their love language. And if they want to hold your hand, you're like, nah, stop, I don't like that. They're not going to feel the love.
That's
and then
right.
You're not going to feel the love, and then everything's going to be an unspoken problem.
Now,
But if you guys know that, oh, mine's gift giving, oh, yours is physical touch, it's like, okay, then you who likes the gift giving, you're going to have to go a little above and beyond to make sure you're giving that physical touch. And then the physical touch person who might just like quality time and physical touch, they're going to have to remember, oh yeah, they really like gifts. That really makes them feel loved when they feel I've thought about them when I give them a gift. Like buy them flowers or something small, like a notepad if they're full of ideas or stuff like that,
Well, I actually talked to my wife about this just yesterday, because we were talking about the podcast coming up. I was so excited,
Heck yeah.
And I reminded my wife, that my love language is touch. Okay, so today, she came in, and then when she was leaving, she said I love you or whatever as she was walking out, and she stopped. She came up to me, gave me a kiss. I was like, nice, and anyway. This is really funny because you'll hear this all the time, and I guarantee you, if you've either watched your parents, okay, argue, or even experienced this yourself, okay. Many times you'll hear something, they'll say like, oh, you don't make me feel loved or whatever, or something like that, okay.
So
and
why
they'll
is
be
it
like,
I don't feel loved in this relationship?
for example, with my wife, okay, let's just use my family as an example, okay. Like let's pretend we're arguing. Okay, and it's like, you never make me feel loved or blah, blah, blah. It's like, I tell you I love you every single day. That's my love language,
Yeah.
okay? It's like, yeah, but you never, you never help around the house.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that is that's
How interesting
They
is
don't
that?
know it themselves, but that's them actually telling them that's my love language. They don't know it. It's like, well, they don't feel loved because you're not doing what their love language is. And that's why it's so incredibly important. But the funny thing is that people don't really know about them. Okay, they go in blind, and usually you know your partner well enough that you kind of pick up on it, and you do those things for them because you're paying
You'll
attention to them.
naturally kind of learn, but you probably won't know why you're doing certain things.
Yeah, you can like I can look at my sons now, okay, because they were too young to take the test initially, but I've been with them long enough to. It's like okay, that's their two love languages there. Usually you have like one or two particularly that you'll lean the most on. But did I say what my love languages were?
You only chose the first one.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
never
flew through a few.
went through
Why
it.
don't you finish them up?
Okay, so I took the test. Okay, many of you guys might be right now. Okay, and number 1, physical touch. Okay, number 2, words of affirmation. I like compliments. You know, it makes me feel special. So nice words makes me feel special. Okay, number 3. So I should say physical touch 37%, words of affirmation 33%, and then it drops off from there. Yeah. Quality time 20%. My daughter, okay, I had to figure her out to understand, and she does this. It does this all the time. Okay, nothing makes like she'll come in the room and she'll just sit there, you know, and she's just talking or whatever. Yeah, it's like you want to do something? I don't know. What do you want to do? Doesn't matter. Her love language is quality time and words of affirmation. So by knowing that and understanding that, I understood her behavior more. Why is she just randomly popping into the room?
What was your breakdown?
So my number 1, physical touch, 37%. Number 2, words of affirmation, 33%. Quality time, 20%. Acts of service, 7%. Receiving gifts, 3%.
Yeah.
So
okay, I did mine.
Did you?
All right, let's hear it. Come on, let's hear it.
So 32% was physical touch.
Okay.
29%.
He needs a hug.
There you go.
Hey, man. You're awesome, man.
29% was quality time.
There you go. Spending time.
So you did the hand.
Hang out.
So yeah, they're literally 3% apart.
Yeah.
19 is words of affirmation, 13% gift giving, and 6% acts of service.
See, those things it drops off after that. So,
but listen how different that is.
Yeah.
32 to 20 and 29. So.
But now I know. It's like, hey, man, your bro needs a hug sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and you might not know it, especially gift giving. Like, that's one that's like, how do you know unless it's their birthday? You know what I mean? Like, when do you figure that out? Birthday, Christmas, whatever.
Hey, do we want to talk about the bro code? It's like, no touching. But you're a cool dude. No touching.
There's a bro hug.
Sure. Yeah, because, times change.
Yeah, no. It's like the handshake and the
two pats.
How the Italians got closer. They do the shake and then they grab your elbow.
That's true.
No? Here.
Yeah. I don't think it was just Italians. That's
literally just the other elbow.
I literally
That's how Italians get closer.
I literally just heard this joke on Horrible Bosses too.
It's not a joke. It's a thing.
No, I know. I just thought it was funny that he just ripped it out.
I think it's an actual I don't know if it's just Italian, but it might actually be.
How about you?
What?
What's your love languages, sir?
See, it is interesting. I haven't taken the test, but I haven't done it in a while.
It's usually pretty easy to figure out.
Physical touch is easily the top, and I was curious.
I'm gonna guess his is also words of.
I think so.
Maybe. I wouldn't be.
Look,
here's the thing.
Words hurt us, so words help us.
Words will devastate us. So it's interesting. I'm at I think it's probably the exact same. Because I think the words of affirmation is slightly above quality time.
Well, okay.
My quality time, I think, is higher than yours.
Yeah, but you already spend so much quality time. Maybe that's an effect.
Yeah, sometimes we're totally fine being alone.
Well, see, but no. See, that's the thing. I don't like to be away from my partner at all.
That's what
my
I'm saying.
partner doesn't like to be away from me.
Yeah,
so
that's why I say
almost like a null and
void
void
one.
Yeah.
Same here, but here's the thing. They go off to work. Are you dying inside?
Sometimes I'll sit there and do literally nothing.
Dang.
I'll be like, what should I do? And I'm like, I guess I'll just sit on my phone. I'll scroll through.
So you have separation
I'll sit down. I'll
anxiety.
play video games. I'll do whatever, man. I'll work on a project. I'm totally fine.
Separation anxiety.
Pretty much. Oh my god.
My dog has that.
My dog does too, bro. My dog does too. Yeah. If we're out of the room, he will start howling. He won't eat his food until you stand next to him.
When my family goes on vacation, one of the dogs won't eat his food for like a day, and then he eventually eats. And they're like, "How's he doing?" I'm like, "He ate finally."
Up next to the bowl because his stomach's full of stomach acid. Next to the bowl of food, I'm like, "What are you doing? Do the one thing you need to live."
They'll eat.
All other creatures that live do.
So at least you could have told me there was a quiz beforehand, and I wouldn't have judged your topic so hard.
See,
you literally
I was
just
worried
said
about finding a quiz because I was always worried. It's like,
I got this.
Your whole topic was, what is your language of love? I was like, well, there's 3 romance languages, so pick one.
I wanted you to come in blind.
I was so mad at this. I was so mad. And it was such a terrible. I was like, this is a stupid topic. The entire time.
So
I even put it in Discord.
Dumb topic?
Oh, are we still talking about topic, or are we?
Well, keep talking about it here.
Okay.
Now, okay, here's another thing, okay?
Nick
This
did
is
do the quiz.
huge that I'm noticing with my children, okay? Now, this is not supposed to happen.
You broke your kids?
Somebody did, but it wasn't me. My children, okay, are adopted, okay?
Yeah.
So the family dynamic is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now, when it comes to kids, typically, they will reflect how they were given or shown love.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's
And this happens
nature,
very early
nurture
on.
mixture. Yeah.
Okay? Now, I wasn't there, at their early stages of life, so their love
Especially
languages
first
are
man-
all
yeah.
different than mine.
For your
Okay.
oldest daughter.
That means I need to pay a lot of attention more to what their language is. So, for example, my boys, not words of affirmation, okay? Which is, my daughter, words of affirmation, quality time. My boys, quality time.
That sounds about right.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay? So,
But
if
that
I'm
they're
not
also
spending
younger
time
still
with them,
too at the time,
Sure. And that might play a role into it.
and
I have thoughts. It's been a long time since I delve into the notes, so I'm not going to say them.
well, my point is, okay, is that, when it comes to kids, okay, typically they will reflect whatever the parents are, or how you showed them love. Okay? So for me, I've got quite a bit of a
Or-
disconnect.
Or
Okay, with
hypothetically,
that. So I
you
have
could
to
say
pay extra attention.
the lack of love that they may have been shown.
That's exactly right. So for
That's why I
example,
feel like quality time may be an important factor.
there's a reason all three of them are quality time because they always stuck together and they were always together, and that's what made them happy. So that's how they showed each other love, by spending time together. Okay,
yeah.
so that'll be with them for the rest of their life.
Well, fortunately now that they're in the in a
Yes.
nice family, that's
Exactly.
unfortunately that's how, like you said, that I think that actually directly correlates to the fact that you were able to adopt them, and that's maybe one of the reasons, unfortunately, that
Absolutely, and for example, okay, if their language is quality time, they've spent their entire lives together. Okay,
Yeah.
being this isn't the topic for the show, but I just gotta
but
put this
it
because
fits
it's
to
important.
it fits to the, like you said.
They're a very tight knit group, okay?
But, yeah.
And being in that kind of system, they were very close to being split because
Yeah.
it's very difficult to move three into a single home. Extremely hard because most people won't do it.
Yeah.
So my point is, okay, if they did have that kind of split, they would have just been broken, because their one love language, quality time,
Yeah.
it's like it would be gone. You can
That's
only
all they
hope
know.
that
Yeah,
somebody would
that's-
reflect it better, but if they don't, like
Up until
Just
like
abandon.
the last few years, that's all they've known.
exactly.
So, and like I said, your kids may grow. Your boys, they could grow. I expect that your sons will grow up to have like another one.
And you know what? That's actually something I needed to get into before we ended out the topic. You can change your love language, and it happens with time. For example, okay, my boys, this is not working at all. Okay, my love language is physical touch and words of affirmation. Okay, right now my daughter's love language has been changing slightly. It hasn't changed; she's just getting a new one. Physical touch is something that she's more accepting of. Like my boys, they're no interest. Like
Yeah.
you give them a hug or whatever, you give them a kiss or whatever, they're like this. They do hugs like this. Like they don't want it. Okay. My daughter, on the other hand, she's totally more accepting of hugs and that kind of thing, and actually enjoying that more. So your love languages can change over time, but it does take time.
Yeah, you can develop an appreciation for certain things, especially.
For example, I bet your love language wasn't quality time prior.
Probably be right.
So I would say after you got married or when you were together with your partner, okay, I would
don't
say
know about
that
that.
evolved over time.
Because I always had a twin brother next to me. To do
Maybe.
things.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I felt like I didn't have too many issues with it, but who knows?
Mandu posted his. I'm just letting. I know we're on a podcast, but we've had a lot of surprising feedback.
Yeah, I thought this topic would be particularly interesting in different ways that people might not have expected.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so Mandu dropped his results, and I thought we could go ahead and discuss that. Number 1, physical touch. What do you know? At a very high 37%. Number 2, quality time.
Did he say we could share these?
He put him in the
He put it
Discord.
in the public Discord.
That's fair.
So, we're all different and that kind of thing, but understanding what helps that other person, feel love or feel loved, okay? That helps. Oh, by the way, if you aren't fulfilling a love language, you could lead someone into depression.
Yes.
Okay. Like if you're not feeling loved, if your love language doesn't match, okay, you could drive them straight into depression.
Think of it this way, guys. Everyone needs to feel loved in some way, shape, or form, especially with a partner or a family, and that's the thing. If their love language is something that you have zero connection with, not even you, just someone has zero connection with, but they may be in a relationship or something like that, and then they never do that one thing that really gets the other person feeling loved, then they will feel just straight up a drought of love, despite the fact they might shower them with gifts. They might hold their hand all the time, but they never tell them words of affirmation.
Yep.
Or they're never around enough
You
to
never
spend
say I
quality
love
time.
you. You
Sure.
never give me a kiss. You never hug
Sure,
me.
it can be that, and that's the thing, is that someone else can be... They can understand what their love language is, or just know how they're loved, and they do that in an abundance to their partner, but their partner, that's not their love language.
I do it all the
It doesn't
time.
matter how much you're doing it, because they're not feeling it. And
I
that's the
seriously, that's something that I heavily have to think of because my two love languages are not my wife's at all. So
Sure.
I say I love you all the time, like 15 times a day.
I wonder how much of this is a crossover with that, the personality test and stuff. Because there was one in particular between you two guys. It was a flip letter, and typically those flip letters don't work.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it has some sort of,
I can tell
Well, he
you.
said it.
all
He
that.
said at the beginning. He's a very, or I don't know if he said it at the beginning of this or when we were just talking general the Valentine's thing, that you're a very logical person.
Yes. I
So,
believe
in
everything
terms
has its reason.
exactly. So I feel like that factors into, like, to you logically, and I'm trying to put logical into obviously what is an emotional topic. You're saying is that the hugging, like, to me that's common. I'm going to say common sense, but it should be a factor, whether
Yeah.
to a degree. And then the same thing, like you said, was it words of affirmation? Mm-hmm. You saying, showing, that's, and it's language. Is part of speaking, regardless of the basic of language is speaking. Mm-hmm. Like you said, that you saying that's something you've grown, you've either watched or grown up or lacked. Yeah. So I feel also, in my opinion, that some of the stuff is either stuff you have seen. I feel like that your language is either a part of lack of from, let's say, maybe a young age, such as we spoke about, like, unfortunately, with your kids before you adopted them.
Yeah.
That will change you, and then your life as a whole. So I feel like it forms almost like personality, nature and nurture kind of mixed together to form what specific to you.
And one thing I like about this, one thing I really like about this one, like we could talk about, the personality tests and that kind of thing. I can tell you, and I think maybe when you guys take this test, you might understand as well. I feel like this is pretty solid stuff.
It's pretty solid stuff.
It's very clear. It doesn't feel like it's like, oh, well, yeah, that kind of works. Like, I know personality stuff gets really fuzzy. I feel the personality stuff works pretty well. It's a pretty good system, but this is like rock solid.
There's two answers
figure out
to
your
every
5
question.
love languages. It's important for you and your partner so that you can maintain your relationship. It's so much easier if you understand how your partner needs
And
to
understand
feel
yourself, though.
Yeah, because if you communicate that, it's like, hey, I'm really not feeling loved right now. How can you not feel loved? I say I love you all the time.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's so easy for that to be reality.
I say it all the time, literally.
Or I give you, you shower them with a gift, but they may not care.
It's like, all I want is that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You bring me, a gift every day, but you can't say I love you, know, and that kind of thing, that's real. So understanding these love languages, I think is really important for any of your relationships, even with your kids.
People who really need quality time, but the other person is very career oriented. They get home late, or they work a second shift, and it's not the same shift as their partner. That lack of quality time is gonna kill. That's going to be really difficult to deal with, and this is how knowing what the love language is can help
make that quality. You can make quality, time out of the time that you have.
Imagine that though.
So just sit next to me.
Imagine you have a job opportunity, and they're like, it's second shift, but you're going to make almost double what you normally make.
Yeah.
But then your partner's love language is quality time, and you're like going to see them so little.
Sure,
that
it's
might
good
be an
money, but is it worth it?
Decision to make that can be really indicative of the future and where it might lead. Just saying.
That's a whole thing, though.
There's all sorts we can go into, but
just that example
we're gonna move on to
alone.
the people's response.
One last thing.
Okay, fine.
Okay, one last. I'm sorry. So when you actually take this test, okay, they will give you great descriptions for each of the love languages, whether it's yours or not. They're not particularly personalized or anything like that. So, for example, I read my wife's one, which was acts of service. Okay, that's definitely not me. And my wife does this all the time. She'll do all sorts of things for me. And it's like, oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But
don't even think about it.
for example, they'll tell you how you feel loved too. So it says one of the greatest things you can say to someone with
this specific type.
with that one, which is acts of service. Okay, is seriously go up to them and say, "Let me do that for you."
Right.
Because they're usually the kind of person who has this endless list of things they need to get done.
They don't think about it. They just do it.
Yeah, they're just doing it. And it's like you going up and saying, "Let me do that for you," allows them to take it off and move on to the next thing. And it's like that is huge for them.
Yeah.
So it's really like I'm telling you, just read the stuff. It's important for you, your partner, and it's awesome. Gives you
And there's
great
also
stuff.
ones for friendship. There's for work. There's for family. So
That's right. I now know. My bro over there across the table, he took the test. I know he needs more high fives and hugs. That's right. Go ahead. Let's move on to the responses.
We're moving on to responses. Okay, this first one is from AG, and this is the one that I liked. Because it's right in there without even knowing about it. AG said, I haven't been in a romantic relationship before, but I do love my friends, and I would say my love language so happens to be simply having quality time with them, as I believe that is the best way to show love. And that's what I was just thinking. It's like, whatever the answer is, like, what do you think is the best way to show love? It's probably what your love language is.
That's right. If whatever you're thinking to yourself, and you're like, oh yeah, like it's obvious, like just spend some time together and buy them some chocolates. They'll love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's gifts and quality time.
Yeah. And
Neither of
you
those are
do
mine.
things for them, so then they don't have to worry about it. It's like, well, yours is probably acts of service. It's interesting. That was AG.
That's good. I love that. I love that angle. It's like, yeah, it's like this works with your friends. And we heard him earlier. He was talking about, giving gifts to his family and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like he said, just quality time. It's like, well, there you go.
This next one is Azran. And Azran mentioned something in the chat, and I know what that is. Which is interesting. Interesting to know. Also, this is a Xenoblade. Azran has said, here, let me see, I'm sorry. There we go.
there.
I have only recently heard the term, quote unquote, love language being used, and I don't fully get it. I've seen some people respond with physical contact / touch, which, side note, is weird to hear in the past few years.
COVID.
Yeah, with a pandemic and everything.
Think of how much that's affecting those people.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
It's interesting when you go into places and you see advertisements. It's just like a group of people all together with like no masks or anything.
It's like, yeah, since when?
Victory.
It's a different era. I'm not totally sure where I'd put myself, but I have to imagine that it lines up pretty well with feeling appreciated, kind words, gestures of gratitude, and spending quality time together, which he nailed a few of them in there.
Yeah.
And, of course, this is before we put out the test, so I'm sure we have some actual results in the chat, which is potentially pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think this one has been a pretty informative topic. We got 2 more responses.
Good.
Oh, man. Yeah. Here
I
we go.
did. I thought it was.
Okay,
I was
this
like,
one
oh
is
my
Jesse
god.
Evil. Jesse, not so evil. There's a few things that make me feel loved. When my partner makes me giggle and laugh so much that it hurts, even when I would have never thought I'd be able to crack even a smile, makes me happy. When my partner makes plans or asks me if we should do something, makes me feel I have someone that cares, and to someone I belong. Nothing
Quality time.
feels like being loved, though, than that someone has chosen you to spend their time with you and wants to continue doing that potentially for as long as they are on this earth. If that doesn't make you feel loved, and all I don't know,
And if that doesn't make you feel loved and wanted, I don't know what can show that they love you better.
Well, what do you know? I believe Jesse Evil's love language strongly is quality time.
yeah, right there. Thank you for the assistance, brother.
You're welcome.
You knocked some rocks.
You got
Thank
one more, don't you?
I don't think that's what that means.
I didn't hear what he said. I was.
Oh my god, that's actually a relation to a game I'm playing. I'll talk about it next week.
All right.
Okay, so this one's from Mandu. What is your love language? What makes you feel loved? Mandu says, I'm
Mandu
honestly
was
not
Mike.
sure how to answer this. Thinking hard. And see, this
And
is
we
so
have
cool
since
because
got a response.
Yes.
I see Hug Squad in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he said
Mandu was
quality
like
time.
me, thinking this makes absolutely no sense. in the
Quality. He
world.
said quality time and physical touch.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Azran. Hello.
Yeah, we are the hug
No,
squad.
physical touch, then quality time for Mandu.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're right.
So yeah, I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. Boys raised, you don't give them hugs. It's supposed to be men.
That's
It's a different era. This is what I'm talking about.
yeah.
It's like, it's fascinating because we're from a different era, and then you have kids now. It's like, no, we're not doing that.
You wonder why male depression is so high?
I was hugged as a child.
Depends on the parent.
That's fair.
That's true. You know, sometimes you get a traditional dad or whatever where they're just like, "Man up, son."
Well, that's how my dad was, but my mother was,
Exactly. And usually,
You guys,
they'll get
my mother
something
is
from
like,
the mother at least.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Was there any more of the responses?
That was it.
Mike, we have ended the topic. You tell me, was it a dumb topic or did you like it?
I will, yeah. Well, now that I was tricked with this fake language. No, I liked it. It was actually a very informative topic. I think like everyone has to learn this was the thing. I didn't know
I'm
this was
happy
a
you
thing
enjoyed it.
until today.
Like seriously, start thinking about your family members or whatever, or maybe a special someone. Start thinking about that and find out what their love language is, because you'd be surprised if it's something simple like words of affirmation. Seriously, you saying a compliment to them make their day.
Yeah.
Okay. So start thinking about your family, your friends, your significant other, or a special someone you might, maybe.
Bro,
want
I'm just
to
saying, if you
pick
know
out.
their love language, and then you're like, hey, that hat looks really cool on you or something, and they're like, whoa, because they love
Thank
words
you.
of affirmation.
I spent a lot of money on this. I thought it looked great with my outfit. Thank you so much for the compliment.
There you go. Look at that. So if you had that special someone out there and you somehow maybe observed enough to know their language, you might have a good foot in. 0.
We don't even know what the next topic is.
It's monstrous. So
Stop looking at the screen, Mike.
It's like 3 paragraphs.
He ain't gonna get it all.
All right.
Okay,
Can you read all that?
I'm gonna do my best. I read it ahead of time, so I at least have a little bit more
You
on
fumbled
point.
through like the Valen Who thing.
You know what?
Go on.
I'm gonna
Do
try,
the
and
little-
then we're gonna cut
do
it
the
back
little
off. We're gonna
screeny
try
thing.
again with Chuck reading it.
No,
All right.
You told me I could do that.
I sure
You did it on
but
Twitter,
you're spiting
too.
me now.
I
did tell you that publicly, didn't I?
Yes, and you took it away from me.
Mike, would you like to read this one?
No, you go ahead. I'll give you a chance.
Okay,
Nice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's gonna fail.
Okay. This topic is nominated by Jesse Evil. It's a doozy, and we're just going to pull what we can, okay?
Okay.
Something that has been found lately is that divorce rates around the world have increased. Researchers have estimated that 40 to 50% of all first marriages end in divorce or permanent separation, and about 60 to 65% of second marriages will end in a divorce. I'm curious to see opinions on whether love is changing or how people's concept of love is different to how love is supposed to be decades ago. Are we, as a species, truly meant for love? Is it a social creation? Are we built to love someone for decades? Or is it something in the last few years, with more modern ways of finding love and increased pressures of finding love, creating this increase in relationships ending? I suppose what I mean by that is, are today's methods of finding love, as well as social pressures of finding a partner, as well as in other things of settling down, of course, creating misunderstandings of what love is and what that should be. Younger people, specifically, feeling that pressure can lead them to marrying early without getting to know someone properly and realizing it wasn't love, but something else, be it lust or just meant to be a fling rather than something long-lasting. And by modern ways of love, or of finding love, such as increased reliance on dating apps, for example, to find love and expectations of finding a partner on particular qualities, is creating problematic expectations of love, and people are struggling to find true love, or even someone who is at least or finding at least someone who loves them. All this is curious without even bringing up the debate of how the commercialization of Valentine's Day having its pressures and effects on love and expectations of love.
That is a doozy.
Yeah, it is.
Who wants to go first?
I would love to.
Okay.
Please take it away.
All right, so huge topic
I was
here.
about to cut
okay,
you off in a minute.
nailed
You
it.
barely made it.
nailed it.
You
I made it
barely
across the
got
line.
over the
I was
hurdle.
waiting. I used my half.
It was.
All right.
I almost did.
Guys, I cheated. I read it ahead of time.
and he missed some words in there too. I watched him. Okay,
All right,
go ahead,
so-
Go ahead. Take it away.
All right, so this
it away
is
from
obviously a huge topic. Divorce in general is kind of its own topic, but expectations for finding love and that kind of thing are huge in our society. Like, we are taught that we're supposed to be in a relationship. Okay, which is why, any of my single friends, for example, I'm talking to you guys, you might feel distraught on a regular basis because everybody tells you you're
Remember me
supposed to be in a
carving the
relationship.
broken heart and that heart-shaped pizza?
That's 'cause
This
you were
is a
crazy.
single slice for me.
Social pressures of being in a relationship are huge. But not only that, they're also huge on yourself, where you feel like you need to be in one because, it's like, well, everybody's in one. Am I not worthy and that kind of thing? And suddenly it's a self-conscious thing and that kind of thing. Am I not desirable? And suddenly just not being
Do we
in a
want to
relationship
talk about love
is
just
negative.
being like hyped?
Yeah,
As a
but
young
you're
youth,
Chuck, you're not
as you're
touching the
growing up, they're like,
topic
hey, this
of-
is going to be the best thing ever. You're like, oh, I better do that.
All right, time out here.
Go ahead.
Are we See, this seems to me like it's two different topics.
It is. It
So
is.
which one are we going to touch on then?
I-
The whole pressures of love or divorce?
I honestly, let's
I
answer
would
the part we
say-
care about.
I think
Which
the entire
one's the
thing.
one we care about?
Well, I don't think divorce was the topic. I believe divorce is a
See,
product.
right, it literally was the first part of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is the product of what the
Okay,
topic
you're
is.
claiming that the topic of divorce is because of
How about this?
finding love.
Yes, it's because of the social pressures. We have people who get into relationships where it's like that's not like, okay, for example, I've seen at no end, the amount of people who get married in like 4-6 months,
Yeah.
insane. Like, what are you talking about? You barely even know them. They move in like a 2 months, 3 months in. It's like, are you out of your mind? Do you even know the person? So it's one of those things where the social pressure of being in a relationship is already high, but we watched everybody in our lifetime go through these relationships. I know everybody I know, I guarantee you, can point to a couple who got a divorce somewhere in their family.
Yeah.
And probably another couple who got divorced multiple times. We heard that little statistic there. 50% divorce rate with those who get divorced at least once. 60% chance of a second divorce.
Yep.
That's crazy. Now,
You'd think it'd go up because you're like, I learned my lesson. Or I
You'd think.
learned the better types of people.
or
They're stupid.
Yeah.
Once we get to, well,
Maybe they
I'll
never
hold
learned
off. I'll hold
their
off.
love language. Woo.
or maybe
Keep it in
they
mind.
just don't understand.
Called recidivism. They didn't learn their lesson.
Like, the people who get married and move in together that quickly, it's like I don't recommend it. For example, my wife and I, like, I'm not gonna this isn't a humble brag or anything, I don't mean it in that way.
guys.
I don't mean it.
It wasn't a brag. There was other extra. There was other details involved in this. But continue.
Yes. So my wife and I were together for 5 years before we got married. Now, we were ready to get married within the first, I would say, after the first year or two. Like, we knew we were going to get married probably after the first year.
But
After
when
the
did you
second
move
year,
into
we
each
were
other?
ready.
When did you move in? And it was.
I moved in probably the second year.
No, it wasn't.
Well, that was when we went and got my wife got
That
an
was the
apartment.
third year for some reason.
It might have been. Because
don't-
I went
I
to
don't-
college.
It might have
I
been
spent
around
time
that,
going
yeah.
to college. We both went to college, so we were both living with our parents.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the time as soon as my wife moved out and got herself an apartment,
Yes.
I was out.
Yeah.
I was gone. Now, I was together with my wife for 5 years before we got married. We would have got married after 2 years. We knew each other. We knew we were going to get married and that kind of thing. But we waited due to financial constraints
Oh,
and
a lot
finishing
of people
college.
do that lately. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest,
Get all your ducks in a row.
yeah, like, we were very, very ready for that. That relationship had already lasted 5 years. It was a long time. At this point, I don't know how many years it is. 13 total. We've been together for like 13
lot of
years.
them.
I don't know.
More than 10 of them.
We're definitely standing the test of time compared to many divorces.
talk next.
And that kind of thing. Go ahead. I don't even know where I was going.
I'm gonna take this from chat because it's exactly what I was thinking.
Go for it. Go for it.
And Mandu pulled it out perfectly. The reason divorces are so high are because honestly, people don't they want instant gratification. And
Yes.
number two, they're not willing to work hard at things they need to work hard at. Children are lazy. The next generation, they're bums. Let's be honest here. I'm gonna go hardcore.
The next generation is always bums.
These are
Wait a minute,
pansies,
aren't
and that's
we
an
the
insult.
bums to our parents? We're the boomers?
Exceptions. No, boomers. Great, you have greatest generation, and this new generation, they all suck. All right, they're coming up here, and Amandu put it in there. They're not willing to work hard. They want everything given to them on a silver platter, and so when they run into their hiccup. I take that as a compliment.
I know you do. That's how I said
when they run into their first hiccup, and this goes to a lot of things, not just, but I know from divorces, when they run into their first hiccup, they don't want to try to work through it. They just cut bait and run, because that's how they've seen it, and whether that be multiple different reasons, it's pushed on them from there's TV shows. You marry the person. You have these reality TV shows where you marry the person, or 90 Day Fiancé, or this stupid stuff that also does not help this whole thing, where basically television and the media itself is saying it's okay to do this stuff.
Social pressure.
It's okay to be divorced 7 times by the time you're
I want to reveal a guilty
40.
pleasure, and that's divorce cord.
Oh yeah, I love it.
It's one of those. So it's again, I think, in my opinion, the divorce thing, putting aside the COVID, because I think a lot of people actually learned more about themselves.
Yes.
That I think is an anomaly. Well, not an anomaly, but an abnormal.
It's a trial. Is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's, and like you said, someone in chat mentioned this. It's because they're less willing to live through the hard times. If it's something's worth it, you got to work hard for it.
Yes.
And that should just be a common sense thing. But like I said, these new people, these new kids, these younger generations, they're not willing to do that. They want instant gratification. I mean, that literally, this is all what the world is based upon now. Your loot boxes and all that stuff.
I believe that is a topic in itself.
It is. But the problem is when it comes to love, it's been, like you said, it's basically made a moot point to where just an instant attract. Again, these TV shows we talked about, and this is multiple TV shows. You've got all these TV shows. Any type of reality TV show has these relationships that start in these shows that basically don't work out. You've got The Bachelor and all these other crappy TV shows.
This is so interesting.
That basically that almost feel like they dull down love, or they make it watered down to where it's nothing special anymore.
It's because it's not love.
Because and so it takes away that marriage is supposed to be, and I didn't read what the thing came in. Is in my opinion, how I was raised, marriage is a sacred institute, and people I'll argue, whoever wants to argue with this. It's supposed to be special. It's supposed to be the person you want to live out the rest of your days with. Now, yes, I'm not gonna lie, divorces will happen due to somebody possibly doing something stupid. If you've tried your best and this still doesn't work out, you've done it. Yes, you've done what you could. I'm not saying that
don't torture yourself.
Bad. Yes, exactly.
But everybody's seen that family.
You're going to hit wrong. As you both can probably testify, you're going to hit bumps in the road. But it's an opinion on: are we going to work on this? Are we going to figure out what the issue is? Is this just something
that willing to try is the whole reason why it works?
And the problem is I feel like people in terms of love, in terms of divorce, they don't want to work at it. They just want to say, "Oh well, it didn't work out." But it's been okayed by society now that it's okay to do that, and that's the other part is love is the commercialization. Actually, you can say a commercialization of love in general.
Hey, Valentine's Day. Talk about you again.
That it's made it basically said it's okay to love 7 people. You can jump from person to person to person, and it won't. There's no. That's what annoys me is that I think the biggest problem is. And I think Jesse kind of had a feeling to it, is like love has been dumbed down and marriage has been spit on basically, and it's just like, oh, it's just there. And I don't feel like people understand it, that it's, look, you don't have to get married if you don't want to. You know what I mean?
True.
If you could date somebody for your life. That's why how common law marriages end up. You just live with somebody. No one it's pressure you to do that. But like I said, it basically is I feel like they've dumbed it down, whether it be people, whether it be the media, whether it be the whole groups of different things going on, that you're either too lazy to make it work, you're too tired, to try to work through the kinks, and that it's basically they're like, it's okay to just cut bait and run. It's okay to love this person. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna go love this person. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna love this person, and that's why the second and third divorce rate.
You're chasing lust.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the recidivism is, you go to your second marriage. Most of those people, I'm going to be honest, I know people like this, they're stupid. They didn't learn their lesson the first time. They just assumed that it was all the other person's fault.
People with zero self-reflection.
Exactly. And they haven't learned their lesson that, hey, maybe I'm part of the problem. maybe
Yes.
I'm part of. It's not just the other person. They did all this stuff. Well, they don't look in a mirror and see that. So I think that's why the second. I guarantee you. I'd like to see the statistics on third marriages, but then we're getting to celebrity territory.
I believe
That's
it
rich people's
progressively
territory.
gets worse. It's preposterous.
That's when you have like a title
That's-
attached to your
It's like
name.
how
Divorced
many
3
people
times.
got to marriage number 4?
That's the rich people's territory.
you know, and once you get to that stage, it's like you
you
clearly are
need to
learning
quit.
a lesson.
You're finding yourself a death buddy.
One huge thing, okay? That
Go ahead. I'm just sorry. I had to. That's my take on this is something like that.
Woo! I love getting perspective here. Like some of the things you were talking about, for example, I was talking about initially was social pressures. Okay, for example, this is a very, very common, extremely common. Okay, and this is every little girl in America. Social pressures say marriage is the best. Okay. Every little girl dreaming about, getting married, blah,
Your
blah,
wedding
blah.
day
What
will
their
be the best
wedding
day
day
of
is
your
going to
life,
look like.
and you're going to be so stressed you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
I don't even know if that's true or if that's just that goofy thing the media constantly pushes where they always show the little girl and she's dreaming about her wedding day, that kind of thing. I don't even know how real that is. Okay. But
you have shows that show like the bridezilla, and there are
Yes.
women like that,
But that
and there's men
social
like that,
pressure
too.
starts very young, where it's like your goal in life is to get married. Okay, so they dream about this, blah blah blah.
I don't know if it's that big anymore.
relationship.
Is it nowadays? It's probably changing.
It might be declining.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've taught a lot of children that kind of thing, in and out of the classroom and that kind of thing, and they've
Depends on the home.
yes,
continue,
definitely,
yes, yeah.
definitely. But a lot of this social pressure romanticizes, the concept of marriage in a weird, unrealistic way. A lot of people, they assume that their relationship is going to be absolutely perfect, and sometimes in the first few months, it kind of is.
You have rose-colored glasses on, so you don't see some of these, some of the issues.
I love that term. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. You see, like you said, the love language. They're assuming everything's fine, and maybe
Yes.
it's not, and they don't address it because of like you said that they're just told that
when you're younger too, they might not know how to efficiently communicate their feelings, their love language, how like some people they roll right. You get an ignorant teenager, okay, who hasn't experienced much of love. Okay, you get some ignorant teenage boy, who comes up and says, "Well, you're the wife. You're supposed to clean the house, make dinner, blah blah blah." Okay. Or equally ignorant
That's what
teenage
you're
girl
supposed to
who
do.
says, "You're supposed to be at work. Where's the money? How are we going to pay for this? Blah, blah, blah." Okay. And there's a lot of stereotypes that we all go through from just social pressure in general, whether it be media or just people we know. Okay. Like for example, I guarantee you there are people with like in-laws and that kind of thing where it's like, you're supposed to be working and doing this. Okay. Or whatever, to their son-in-law or something like that, or their daughter-in-law. It's like, where's the babies? Where's the grandkids? Come on. The social pressures in general surrounding love and marriage and relationships is weirdly romanticized, and it always has been. So I think it has a huge impact, especially age and experience, huge impact on relationships and that kind of thing. It's like I think Nick was saying, it's like if you aren't self-reflecting on why you're part of the problem, in any argument, it's never, well,
It's a two-way
just
street.
you.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
never
two-way
it's just
street.
you. It's always a combination, and understanding that yourself is how you move forward in a relationship. So a lot of this I think is maturity, experience, just mental age, so which I guess is maturity, but a lot of it's important because if you're not ready for marriage and that kind of thing, you are going to go in blind. You're going to go in with those rose-colored glasses thinking everything's going to be peachy because you're married now. Or one of the biggest tests that you're not allowed to do in many religions.
Yep.
Move in together before you get married. Now, they say
That's
you can't
stupid.
move in until after you're married. Okay, so they do that. Then they move in. They find out they hate each other.
Yeah.
They can't live with each other. One's a
Isn't there-
slob and one's this or
Isn't
whatever.
there this was years ago. I heard something to where like, that's like one of the biggest tests is to do not to move in together, but like do like a house sitting type of thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it.
Because I'm not moving in together to a certain degree, for the first couple of years, it keeps an air of mystery to a relationship. Because after a while, like
Yes.
once you get married, then it's a
Look,
different
if you're in a
story.
relationship for years, you probably should
Yes,
think about
yeah,
moving in at that
exactly,
point.
yeah.
But when you're in that 6 month whatever, it's like, hey, time to
I know
test
people
this
that do
out.
it. I
You
look at
find
them like
out.
they're crazy when they're like, "When did you start dating?" Like 3 months ago. I'm like, "And you're living with the person?" Yeah. Okay. This person
mean,
could be an
you might have to move
They may
out
be a
soon.
serial killer. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when you if you break up? Well, that's not gonna happen. Are you sure? What happened last time? That's how you're in this situation now.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hey, you got something on this? I know you've been cooking. You're the last in line.
No, well, for one, my partner moved in like within 4 months.
Yes, you're one of them.
I am one of them. There were circumstances to it. There were reasons for it. It wasn't. But
there's an anomaly.
But your
to
success
every,
story.
Yeah, there's.
I'd say I got lucky because I tested some of the I tested some of those limits just due to necessity of situations and stuff like that.
Wait, you tested them like on purpose, like you see how far you can push the envelope? Oh, okay.
No. No. There's a reason my partner moved in at like 4 months. Okay. But to be fair, I mean, think about it this way, okay? If I was holding true to the religion I was born and raised in, I would not have been able to have them move in, okay? I might not have known that person. Instead, I went through trial by fire, and I very quickly got to know this person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the time we were eventually, like getting ready to actually, like, get married and stuff, it's like, well, it wasn't a question as to an if, it was a when, I mean... Like you with Miss Wizard, it's like you guys knew.
Yeah, we
knew each other eventually.
Within a year, we knew. It was very clear that we clicked very well.
Yeah, so I mean, I've gone through some of these, and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, had I stuck so stringently to the religion I was raised in, I wouldn't have done that, and I might not be with my partner. We've been together. I don't know. I've known for.
You got married a couple years.
I lived with Miss
5
Wizard.
years, been married for maybe 3 or something. I don't know.
I lived with Miss Wizard for 4 years before getting married.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is on the flip side, you can also say is you can be with someone like you said 5 years before you get married. It's not we've been together 2 years, regardless if anyone says or doesn't say. You don't have to get married. Like it's not if you know you're with the right person. You can get, like you said, Chuck, get your ducks in a row, and then work from there. But like I said, again, I mean, it all comes down to, I think, well, again, you two are, I think, well, you're kind of an outlier. You're kind of I don't know.
I had a bad first-time relationship.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm saying is like,
good topic
there's
for another day.
Yeah, an anomaly of each thing, but, making.
So just to kind of just screw with everything we just did.
Okay.
But I don't think we have time to get into this topic today. This will have to be another day. Why marriage at all? Does it matter? I moved in with Miss Wizard for 4 years. We eventually got married. Like, legally, tax code, that kind of thing. Yeah, it has some implication, whatever. Okay, but...
The law is made to benefit the
love-wise, like, what changed?
All right, well, so that's the topithat down the road?
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
write it down.
But that was the other thing. Is that yes, I did. But was that actually the question though?
No, it was about divorces.
I don't think it was divorce. It was the product of
that. Divorces were the beginning of
divorce
the
is the product.
It's fascinating, and just you guys might be worried. It's like 40 to 50%
ignore
first marriages.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah. Well, even if you do, here we're gonna give you the tools that can help you have a better success to the beginning.
We did give him the tools.
Exactly.
We did.
You
had your love language lesson with Chuck Ditto.
Like I said, I had my partner move in after like 4 months due to circumstances, okay? It worked out fine, okay? Because our love languages meshed extremely well, okay? And you just end up with a happiness feedback loop. It's great, And sometimes that doesn't work out, okay? Like Chuck and Miss Wizard, they have 2 totally different love languages. But the factor is they were able to work out and figure each other out and know how to help each other, And that's the thing about, like, if a relationship isn't working or if for some reason people get to the end of the line and they think divorce is the only answer, then I don't know, maybe the love language might be able to help. You never know. Obviously, there are gonna be some circumstances that it's gonna be there.
But
there's stuff
work
that's
on it.
gonna be irredeemable. There's gonna be stuff that can be redeemed.
Yeah.
And hopefully with maybe some of this knowledge of love languages, if you guys ever get in a relationship and you're wondering, why isn't this working? You might be able to solve it like that.
Look into a mirror.
Yeah, sure. Self-reflection. Of course, there might be things in self-reflection too. Maybe the love language, maybe they're feeling love-starved because the way you receive love is completely not the way they do. and you're just confused, like, how in the world don't they feel the love? I buy them gifts all the time. I do things for them, but then, maybe they need words of affirmation or quality time or touch or whatever, So who knows? But when you get into those future relationships, or if you're in one and it's occasionally rocky,
that's life.
Maybe look into it.
That's life. That's love.
Sure.
Just depends on how willing you are to work on it.
This is interesting, okay? Because my partner mentioned something from the
It's a long, hard road.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned, the first 7 years are the hardest of marriage.
I think I've heard that somewhere before.
I heard that, but the thing is that for me and my partner, that's the most confusing thing I've ever heard.
I don't think it is. I think they mean that in terms of
I think it
I
means
assume
some
it
people,
original of like, because after 7 years, like they I think don't they call it the 7 year age, like things stop becoming, you get into a rut or a routine.
People eventually just accept that their partner is the way they are, and the things that they disagree on.
I hope that's not when they give up and just accept it.
I feel like
that's what it is. It's like
I wonder if that's also when the statistical divorce drops off.
Maybe.
I don't know.
No, I think
I don't think that's right.
It's just
No,
when
not at
people
all.
are like, oh yeah, those.
no,
first
the 7 years
those
is
are
like
so hard,
because you're
but,
still learning
after
about each other,
Sure.
and then after the 7 years, usually after 7 years you
I
know
guess
most about it.
Both
but then,
my partner and I have both found that phrase, like where you just nod and say yes, but we found that completely confusing.
it's meant to be about a specific thing in marriage.
Well, that's the same thing I hear all the time when we used to work together.
I think it's just relationships settling when you have some cracks there and no one wants to fix them or no one can fix them. No one can figure it out.
I know exactly what you mean, because when I worked with Miss Wizard we worked in the classroom together and that kind of thing, we constantly got the comment. It's like, I come to work to get away from my partner. It's like,
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, that's freaky. Yeah,
it's weird. It feels weird, and then you got to wonder. It's like, what are you doing?
you might want to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe there's something better out there.
What?
Not everyone deals with that.
See, that's the problem, Nick. You're saying maybe there's something better out there when we don't even know what the problem is. You're ready to cut bait and run already.
That's not what I said.
That's what you said. There's something
good.
better out there.
No, look. What I did say.
You said exactly.
We've given
what you
you
said.
the tools to help you find out how to fix things. When things might be irredeemable, then maybe you swap it out, okay? Because
don't say swap it out, because it's like you're trading in a car for another one.
Like Mandu had mentioned, okay, and I'm gonna liken this, okay? He said marriage is marketed like it's basically offering girls the dream of being a Disney princess for a day, and I would say the exact same thing for first-time relationships, where everyone's like, "Oh, it was love at first sight," or "I knew this one was
that's real though."
It is a real thing, but my thing is that the idea of romanticizing it can have incompatible people
I will
stick
argue
together
that
because they say, no, this is how it's supposed to be.
I'll argue though that sometimes it needs romanticism too, because otherwise, it's to some people they just think it's stupid and boring.
Hey guys, there's no such thing as luck, and fate's a lie.
You can't say that.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Science and logic. Sorry, I'm hard, cold.
There's
and
no. There's no. That's not how it works.
I meant to say I'm cold and heartless. I didn't mean to say hard.
All right, what's topic number 3?
Wait a minute.
Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah, okay. So we didn't have community responses because that was a community topic. This next one is also a community topic. Here we go.
So we wouldn't have responses.
Yes.
Exactly.
This one's from AG. Has online
Are we
learning...
gonna be able? Hang on. Are we gonna be able to do this at 8:30?
We gotta.
Yeah.
I don't think we can roll out without an extra topic.
Bro,
let's try and keep it concise, guys.
We can't keep it concise. This is a big topic.
Let's try. Has online learning failed an entire generation? At least in my country, the average student that passes our major 3 exams, the SEA, the CXC, and the CAPE, has dropped off majorly.
Yes, I'll start.
Please.
Well, besides the fact that online learning is stupid and teachers themselves need to look in the mirrors, most teachers recently, if you follow news,
I don't think he's wrong.
They just there to collect a paycheck and don't really care about teaching actual things that are going to help students.
What's that thing that they give college professors?
Oh, tenure.
Yeah, tenure.
They take
tenure
those
is
away.
a joke. Like, what?
Take
Are
them
you
away.
serious?
You don't deserve. Yeah.
It's like having people in Congress for
For
forever.
life. It's for life. Yeah, take it away. They don't need it.
What do you mean? It's a bad idea.
I don't know
tenure. You can do
exactly-
whatever you want because you have tenure. Sorry.
I don't know if be concise. Okay. So here's the deal. So I can't speak for your country, AG. I don't exactly know what it is. I know here the problem is I'll go back to the exact same rant I just did. Is in terms of online learning. Number one is questionable if it should have started anyway. People invested too heavily in that. I get it to a degree if you're trying to make up schools and stuff like that and learns like that. But I think in terms of online learning, I don't know if it's the online learning that failed the generation. It really messed them up because there's certain things you can't learn online. In my opinion, you need to be in person to do that. But I think instead of in terms of the average student, all that stuff, I think it comes one to the teachers and the students. And actually, it's just actually the world we're living in. People, again, too lazy. They don't want to try to hard work. They're given grades, and we can attest to this. Even it was starting up when we were in school. Yeah. If you can't do basic math or English, or a lot of these people that can't, they should not be allowed to pass. You're basically just shoving them out in the world.
Oh yeah,
making the ugly concept.
The education machine where it's just, they just push them forward anyway.
And I've seen there's states here in America where they're lowering the standards to where they can't fail anyone or they don't need to be proficient. Well, you're basically setting them up to fail.
Here's your participation.
And that's exactly, participations are stupid. Basically, what you're doing is you're setting these people up to fail because if they can't read or write, they're not going to be able to hold a job.
School's not about keeping up with the social norm. It's about learning.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be, but now it's just this place where these people can go to teach whatever they want and just collect a paycheck and pump whatever they feel like it. The problem is these syllabuses don't actually relate to anything important in life. Half the stuff you don't even learn in school. That's what I'm saying is these, parents need to look into into the stuff. And I think that's going to be a thing we're seeing here now. But in terms of that online, I don't think online learning has failed. It's the world in general. These kids think that, and they're taught that, you don't need to, it's okay that you can't do math. You can't do basic math.
Not everyone's
We're going to pass you
math.
anyway.
It's fine.
Exactly. You're going to have you're right. You're going to have your strengths and your losses, but if you just pass someone, even if they suck, hold them back. I'm going to tell you the best thing that ever happened to me is I was homeschooled for kindergarten and first grade. When we moved here, so we put me in a second grade because that's how it would go. I was not going well. I was struggling, so my parents took me out of first. Physically, one day I was in second grade. I went to first grade the next day. I have, as you guys can attest, I've been an above average student my entire life. I was in the top 50 out of the 400 kids we had in our school.
As long as I've known you.
So the problem is if they can't do it, it's nothing against them. It's not a knock against that person. People struggle.
That's one of the biggest things with the kids.
You're literally setting up the failure.
You end up having a bit of a social weight on you because it's like, you were held back, you're not as smart, whatever.
Yeah,
as soon as you get out of school, nobody cares.
Exactly.
Nobody cares.
You're
I
a
never
better
would have met
adult.
my friends. And the problem is also they drop the. This is where the benchmark is because that's where it should be, right? You need to be able to do math in life to do basic things. You should be able to read and write so you can do stuff for a job. All these things. But they lower it so low to where, you were able to do this? Okay, fine. The benchmark is continuously lowered to where it's basically, as long as you show up, we'll pass you.
I want to mention something in chat. Miss Michelle said, I had to fight to hold your sister back in second grade because I knew she wasn't ready for third. And it's like, you know what? Good for you. You're a good mom.
And that's what I think a lot of parents
for your child for the right thing because they will push them forward even though they're not ready.
And we're seeing that
nonsense.
I think that this is a whole topic, but we're seeing that here at least in America where the parents are kind of coming back. But yeah, I feel like online learning is just another product of unfortunate circumstances, and I think yes, it'll. We've already screwed up some kids in the last 3 years, so it's gonna be a real struggle for them down the line. I don't know if there's a way to necessarily fix that. And I'm hoping online learning, in terms of just online learning, I'm not talking about like if you take an online class at college, that's one thing. That's one you actively take.
That's something you chose.
Yes. Or I had to do one for when I was sick for my senior year. I had to take an online class, which is fine. I still had to do homework and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just strictly online learning, like I don't know if your kids had to do that. I think for
an entire
half those teachers are lazy or they're not. There's just things you can't teach. You need teachers to help them. And you can't do that over a Zoom call.
I've got a huge amount of perspective on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I have kids.
Yeah,
and I taught many children in classrooms and that kind of thing. I've gone to college myself. I've taken online classes for college. I have experience in every department of this. Okay? Yeah. Now, I can tell you COVID online learning is one of the greatest plagues to ever hit the school education system in anything I've ever seen.
Yep.
There has been nothing worse I've ever seen, excluding that act a long time ago, the No Child Left Behind, which was the act that said, no, they move forward.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Terrible idea. That is one of the other worst things.
What that did?
That's what that was.
To some
No
degree,
Child Left Behind meant
has
you can't
something.
fail.
It has something to do with that. I don't know the full
Anyway.
details, but yeah, it didn't help. It was stupid.
Oh, jeez.
With COVID, okay. Now, online learning is not a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the coolest things to come out of COVID. But one of the huge things that Mike kept putting, and this is not on the students. Now, children are lazy. That's what they are, okay? But the problem is the teachers are enabling this because the teachers are choosing to be lazy. Now, I have watched this go on.
I'm thinking more of high school and college. I kind of went rogue with that one. But yes, you're saying.
I have watched this evolve from what school was to full-blown COVID closure to reopening with online learning to hybrid learning between home, online, and learning in a classroom, straight back into what is now considered, back in the classroom. I've watched this whole thing unfold, and I'm going to explain to you how this all went.
Some places haven't even done that yet.
You're right. A lot of them haven't.
They don't want to.
This will depend on the school from school to school.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
depends
but
on
we
the
are
school.
talking about online learning, so.
Now, COVID hits. Kids are out of school for months.
3 years.
Okay. Yeah. It was crazy. Okay. Suddenly they're reopening. Everybody's got a Chromebook. They're learning at home.
COVID.
It's not a great system at all. Okay. But at the same time, I watched this unfold. It was way better than nothing. Okay. And that's
Absolutely.
I'm not going to sit here and say that online learning is in general a negative.
You did
I would
call it a
say
plague.
it has
the COVID learning. Like we said, the online learning. Chuck's taking a class Tuesday nights after our show to learn about stocks.
I
took one as like makeup classes. People take online learning classes that are made for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you from watching through COVID.
You can't take
watching
algebra
the kids
on learning.
come back with their Chromebooks. Absolute chaos. But at the same time, my children also learned a very interesting discipline. The ability to go to school themselves with a Chromebook. Totally crazy concept, but believe it or not, it is working. Now,
It's like their textbook now.
yes, but
That's sad.
it takes a very dark turn, and it didn't take long at all.
Mm-hmm. Shocker, right?
Teachers became the laziest profession I've ever seen in my life. Now,
They've always been that way.
You'd see some teachers where it's like they're full blown, they're doing class, and they say, "Johnny, turn that, or sit in your chair over a Zoom call." It's like you still got it.
Yes.
That being said, iLearning, you ever heard of iLearning or iReady, whatever? Okay, let me tell you, an absolute plague. Okay. My children proceed through their COVID year, okay, doing their iLearning or whatever, okay, interesting, fine, whatever. But suddenly you start to see this weird reliance on it where it's like, okay, today for reading, you're going to read 2 books in your RAS kids, okay? And
like a program?
iLearning, you're going to take this lesson and this lesson. The teacher doesn't do
Follow up on this
anything.
Oh,
Sometimes some of the teachers, they started by it's like, okay, we'll do the lesson, I'll teach you. And then you go do your iReady math lesson where you do a complete computerized lesson.
It's like you're handed out work.
This stuff is very efficient.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
It's really good. The reading books online and that kind of thing. It can read to you if they're not very good at reading. They're recording their voices
Yeah, but that's also
and all
hard,
that.
though.
And
You
it
gotta
plays it
learn how
back
to
for the
read.
teacher. That's the good teachers.
Oh, for the younger kids.
Oh, yeah, you still got to teach
So-
them.
It scales. It
Yeah.
scales by grade
Okay,
level.
okay.
The books get harder to whatever matches their kid. Your kid's not doing well in class, it matches their
Sounds
level.
great for the homework.
It's awesome. It's really awesome. Same with the iLearning. If they're not ready for it, they don't move on. They keep doing their lessons until they figure it out and they move on at their own pace. Awesome. Not the problem. Technology is great and it's awesome, but all of a sudden you start to see their online class, their little learning programs are better than the teacher. The teacher's not doing it anymore. They're literally just getting on
Assigning
that.
it.
My children are now in school. Okay. And I kid you not, I asked both of my children, or both of my boys today, it's particularly the younger they are, the more they're getting screwed here.
Yes. Yeah.
The older, believe it or not,
50-50, really?
It's really 50-50. It's very 50-50. They're kind of getting screwed. They're kind of not. Both of my boys told me what they did in their math and reading and their science and their whatever.
Oh, no.
It's literally, they did iLearning for 30-something minutes and they did their reading, whatever, for 30-something minutes, and then they got to play games on the computer.
Where?
You get
In
to play
school?
games at school?
Yeah, it's an educational game. It's fun, whatever. Okay. Cool. Again, the tech's not
Are they in
bad.
class?
In class. My kids are in school, and they're still, every single one of them, every single day, they spend half their day
They're on the
Chromebook
computer
still,
in class.
In class.
Then what's the point of the teacher?
That's the biggest question. And I've watched this unfold from the very die-hard at the start, where they're like, we're going to keep doing class, mother lover. Okay? To the... we're just doing iReady lessons, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to do this, you're going to read 2 books, and that's class today. iReady teaches you what the lesson is, so why am I teaching it to you?
But what if they have questions? They can't.
They can ask the teacher then.
Okay, but if they don't have a teacher, they can't ask questions.
To be honest, they don't need to.
So
iReady does an
like
amazing job of
like
teaching
a teacher attendant.
Well,
I'm telling you,
some people
it's
think it's
replacing
stupid.
the teachers, but in a wrong way. Okay, the teachers are not teaching as much.
But you can't. I guess I don't know enough to say already. If you have a question about how this equation's done, it can't break it down in a manner to where, like, I know how Nick learns, right? Yeah. I can explain to him it's similar to this, because I've tutored people. I tutor people through school. Some people just don't get certain things and some people do. You have to break it down to where it's understandable to that person. If it's a computer program, it's basic to everybody. Yes. So if they don't get it that way, they're still not connected. The dots aren't connected.
Now, step in.
That's where the teacher should be able to step in.
But here's the problem.
But if there's no online learning, there's no teacher to step in.
Now, I'm going to tell you, here's the problem, okay? The iLearning, the iReady learning, the Reyes kids, blah, 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 okay?
I don't know what that is.
It's getting really, really good at giving them tutorials on how to do it. It'll step in when they're getting it wrong and teach them how. And I'm telling you, it's really, really effective. And that's the problem. Okay. The teachers know how effective it is. It does a great job. So the teachers are literally letting it do their job for them. And I kid you not, I bit my tongue at my dinner table tonight. I actually said it. My wife was like,
I don't then.
Where I said, what did your teacher do during that time?
It's probably sat there and played them.
That?
They literally, they walk around, they help some kids and that kind of thing. And that's great. But my kids particularly, okay, me, not so good. Okay. I didn't do well in school at all. Okay.
No,
I had a hard time. Definitely, it's like, no, I'm not ready. Okay. My kids again, I don't like humble bragging or whatever. My children, pretty smart. They're really good. They're ahead of their class on almost everything, almost always. Okay.
Yeah, they don't need the extra attention that some students, unfortunately, will need.
My son went into kindergarten, okay, and he knew how to read. Okay. Children, they go to learn what A sounds like. They go to learn what A looks like.
Yeah.
They go to learn what is an A. Okay?
Yeah.
He went in reading first grade level books. So he just gets like RAS kids, whatever this is, the reading program. He gets pushed along in the program that puts him with appropriate books for his age level, but he's ignored entirely.
Yeah, which is
the
is
teaching element who looks at your child and says, "Hey, your child's ready for this. We're going to do that." Okay.
Yeah.
My other son, his teacher, very more traditional, does the learning to way more than I would prefer, but she put him in an advanced math class. He's doing 4th grade math in 3rd grade.
There you go.
And I was like, okay, that's awesome. You needed a teacher to point that out, to pay attention to him, to help him. And when he is struggling on 4th grade math, like he should, okay, she steps in and helps him.
Yeah.
So I've seen teachers where it's like they're doing it. I've seen other teachers where it's like, are you teaching? My daughter, okay, also above her class in general, okay? Mm. She had 126% in a class.
I had that once. I talked to her about this. That's pretty good.
You earned it. Now, my daughter's really smart, and I bet she earned some of it too. But I said, why do you have 26% of extra credit offered in the class?
Oh, dang, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The number of kids that are getting passed along, okay, it's like, it doesn't matter what your grade is, you got 100%, whatever, you did it. Okay. Yeah. The number of times I've heard my daughter come home and says, "Oh, we got the paper, and then we went over it in class."
Wait, what? They gave them the answers?
Yeah, after they did it themselves ish, and then they went over, gave them the answers,
and then they graded it.
Yeah.
That's
telling
stupid.
You, the number of kids
getting math class kind of thing.
The number of kids.
I needed the system.
They're basically just saying, if I'm a student, if you're one of those students, you're just like, why do I even have to write anything? I can just wait for this person to tell me all the answers.
I was one of those kids because I wasn't that good at school, okay? I was lazy. I would have figured it out really fast, and I would just be like, well, we're going to get the answers. Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay? My point is, I've seen firsthand, okay, where students are getting passed along, I've seen firsthand where the learning, the online learning and that kind of thing is literally replacing the teacher. I've seen firsthand where a teacher has used the online learning in a positive way.
So you're feeling,
I've seen it all.
I feel like what I'm getting from you is, and again, it depends on I guess also depends on the program. I don't know if iLearning is used in every school district or in certain school. You know what I mean?
It's fantastic, man.
But it sounds like it needs to be a conjoined approach.
One of the things I said,
I don't like that word on this channel.
I heard, you're right. I heard my kids.
You're fine. They don't have to separate you two.
Yeah. I heard my kids talking about this, and I said, you know what? I'm hearing all this, and I know the program. I'm like, the program's great. I'm like, but you shouldn't do it in class. This should be your homework.
Yes.
This is great homework. Like it does a great job. They enjoy doing it. It's on their level.
So you're saying they should, rather than giving out like the homework now, they should be using the iLearning as the homework instead of they should be teaching this stuff and then actually it should be good because you're not only have the teacher teach them, your homework will also help reinforce what you've already been taught.
Yes.
And strengthen what you learned in class. It's like a dual teaching thing.
Yes. So what ends up happening? Okay, like I said, okay, it's just particularly the plague is the teachers.
Teachers,
they've received this golden egg, okay, it's awesome.
They've had this golden egg for decades.
Yes, and with the COVID closures and that, they said, how do we get school going again? They grabbed that tech. Yep. The tech was good, and now they're addicted to it.
We're gonna close this thing out.
All right.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
I don't. Okay.
You mean shut up and let us close it.
Whoa!
Tell me what to do.
The decorum.
Who do you think you is?
Guys, thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of the Potential Apes podcast. This has been episode 6. We talked a whole lot about love.
This is only 6?
Only 6?
It's only the 6th. Can you believe
crazy?
That?
Yeah, many
it's been
more.
Great. It's been
I know there is a crazy laundry list of topics we want, and of course, remember, you can help submit your own topic that we might discuss. Today, we had the opportunity to take 2 of them. So that was pretty cool. So please consider using the form, submitting your topic, and we might just discuss it on the actual podcast. Is there any final words you guys want to bring up?
Honestly, this was a really fun one. I'm happy we dropped the Valentine's Day topic. We just didn't have time. We couldn't make it work with our schedule.
We did discuss some of the answers as the pre-show, so that'll be in the recording. It won't be in the final podcast cut, but thanks for being here to check it out.
Absolutely, and I really love this show. We do this show every other week. So look forward to that. We're aiming to get 2 of these out per month.
But the other weeks, the middle weeks, we do actually do another one about gaming stuff.
On our off week, we do our gaming talk show where you can join live and discuss with us. Absolute blast if you're a fan of video games, and especially if you're pretty neutral in video game companies and that kind of
stuff.
thing.
If you say particularly not the video games part, because that is such a thorough part of our lives. We talk about it all the time.
You like video games, you'll love the other show.
Yeah, we wanted to stretch
the show's about everything else.
That's in the middle. And then on Tuesdays.
Tomorrow,
it's now at 11 Central Time.
Yeah, it's American, like 11:30 in the morning Central Time.
Yep.
We do our Game Pass Plus. It's your premium addition to your Xbox Game Pass subscription. That is one of our only shows, which is a particular specific brand, but I think you guys will enjoy that too. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm good.
All right.
Guys,
thank you for joining us. I'm going to close it out with a lovely comment from the one and only Jesse. Sending love to all the potential apes out there. May ape find strong love to help keep apes strong. Good night, everyone.
Good night.